Video is to show you how you can create your own application forms within the It's Plain Sailing system. So first of all, you need to go to itsplainsailing.com, click the login button in the top right hand corner and log into your organization's administration area. I'm using this test account just for demonstration purposes. Within the system we have two types of application forms. We have an entry form application form, which is used for events, and we have a membership form, which is used for people signing up for membership. So in this case, I'm going to create an entry form. An entry form, you can click on entry forms here on the left with underneath events. You'll see we have a few entry forms created already, but we have a default one which is always there. The other ones you can add yourself, and these have been added previously. If I go to your public page and we click on events, you'll see we all previously set up an event called Winter League, and if we click on one of the activities within that event, you can see this is what the standard default event application form looks like. It's got a first name, last name, contact email, and an optional additional info field. So what we're going to do in this demonstration is we're going to create a new application form. So we click Add Application Form on the top right hand corner side, and we're going to create, we'll call it Standard Event Entry Form. This is the standard event entry form we use for most events, and you can indicate on this form whether you want the description text to appear or not. The description text is this text that appears underneath. So I think it's good practice to always include that information. You can also indicate whether you want to show or use the contact name or not. So you'll see that the first name, last name, sometimes the first name and the last name of the person being entered is not the same as the contact name, for example, if it's a parent. But other times maybe it is the same person, so you don't need to show two fields. So you can say show, you can say no for showing the contact name, and then also you can, by default we have this optional additional info field which allows people to add a message with their entry. You may decide you don't want that, and if you don't, then you also set this to no. So then we add that application form. So we created a new one called Standard Event Entry Form. Now, by default, when you click into that, you'll see that this entry form has 4 standard fields, mandatory, and 1 optional one. And that corresponds to these 4 fields here, which are mandatory, they must provide a value, and the additional info field, which is optional. You can add extra fields to this form if you wish. You'll see any fields that you've already created are displayed here on the right. So let's say you wanted to add a gender field. You click on the gender field and you drag it, and if it's a mandatory field, you drop it into the mandatory box. If it's an optional field, you drop it into the optional. Optional means that they don't have to actually provide a value. They can still submit an entry, whereas if they're mandatory, they won't be allowed added to the shopping cart without including a value. So you can add fields to your form, and you can decide whether they're mandatory or optional. If there's a field here, or let's say that you want to add a field but it doesn't exist in your form, you haven't previously created, you can come back out here and you click on Entry Form Fields. So let's say we wanted to add a horse's name as a field. You click here, Entry Form Fields. You'll see this is a list of all the fields that have already been created, and we're going to click Add Field. We're going to call it horse's name. Please provide the name of the horse for this entry. So you give it a name, you give it a description. So that name and description is the name that appears here and the description that appears underneath. So make it useful, make it clear what the purpose of the field is. And then when you're adding the field, we support different types of fields. So it could be it's a date, it's a drop-down list, email, could be a multiple choice. So it's like a drop-down list and you can select more than one option, a phone number, Radio choice, again, is like a drop-down list, except it displays as radio buttons rather than a menu. Swim time allows you to specify hours, minutes, seconds. It's a time it's used for many swimming clubs. Text is a simple text box on a single line. Text area is a text box, but it's multiple lines. So if you have, let's say it's an address or something, you can ask people if you can create a field that is a web address or a whole number, which is basically a number without a decimal point. So in this case, it's a simple text field with a horse's name, and we're going to add that field. So now you'll see that we've got another field in our list called horse's name. So if we go back to our entry form and we click standard event entry form, which is the one we just added. Over here on the right now you'll see we've got horse's name. So I want to add that to the form and I hit save. So now I've created a new application form for events called standard event entry form, and I've added an extra field to it called horse's name. So if I want to use that entry form, I'm going to go back to events. I'm going to go into my winter league. I'm going to go down to under 10s, and then I'm going to edit the application form field here, and you'll see I've now got an extra option here. I'm going to say let's use that form instead, and I go back and I'll do the same thing for, so you'll see I'm now using the standard event entry form. I'm going to do the same thing and change the under 12s. So what this means is, now if I go to my event, if I hit reload here, because I've changed the under 12s Winter League event to use a different form, we've now got an extra field here called horse's name. So that quite simply is how you create your own entry forms and then use them within events. And the idea behind an entry form is that you create it once, and then you can use it over and over again in your event. So you don't have to create a new entry form every time you create a new event. The same principle applies for memberships. So you'll see under memberships we've got membership forms, and in here we can add a membership form like we did before. So let's say family membership form. I'm not going to put a detailed description in, but we add in the family membership form. If I click into it, you'll see by default that membership form is slightly different. So you've got first name, last name, gender, date of birth, contact name, contact email, contact mobile, contact address. So there's a little bit more information that you can indicate in your application form for membership. But the principle is the same. You can add fields, you can drag them across and drop them in, so you can design the membership form as you see fit. So that's just a little bit about entry forms and application forms and how to create them. Thank you.